I think it's a constant struggle for people to actually strive and be productive, but if they don't get a chance, they'll never be able to do that. And so I think it's very important that we support them in their recovery.
Welcome to this week's edition of Recovery Happens. My name is Patrick Patterson, Center Manager for BW Rock. Today we're going to be sitting down with Thelma, President and CEO of the Blue Water Area Chamber of Commerce, and an important supporter of the recovery community.
Well, you know, Patrick, it's kind of funny you asked that question, why the Chamber should support the recovery community, because I think before you actually came into our office, I didn't think much about it, even though addiction is around all of us, and if you're not really fully understanding or you don't believe addiction's around everyone, you really are living under a rock. I personally have had some family members that have been addicted to various alcohol and drugs. So I understand that it's very important that we provide an opportunity for our recovery community to have a second chance and to be individuals in the community that are really doing some great work. I think it's a constant struggle for people to actually strive and be productive, but if they don't get a chance, they'll never be able to do that. And so I think it's very important that we support them in their recovery and that giving them choices and options, because otherwise they don't have that chance and people won't really think that they can survive. And I think they have to take it day by day. I've had people ask, why do we support them, and why should we give them a chance? And I think we need them. We need that workforce. You know, just because they had a problem doesn't mean that they're not individuals that can be very contributing to the community. They just had an addiction that somehow overtook them, but they're good people. It just happens. Well, I think, Patrick, you're absolutely right. Everyone wants to support things, but just not next door to them. You know, I just actually came back from a trip from Traverse City looking at trails that involve walking and biking, and everyone wants trails, but not on my land. So I think it's the same kind of concept that as a person, we tend to not get invested in something unless it's a personal connection. And for us, in my family, my dad was an alcoholic, but I didn't get to have an opportunity to actually grow up with him because I was 13 when he passed away. And prior to that, he had to leave the house at the age when I was about 6 years old. My family said he couldn't be around any longer because of his addiction, which is unfortunate because I think if we would have been able to provide some opportunities for him to get better, you know, he might still be around today, but unfortunately that did not happen. But then after that, we had some family members recently also dealing with addiction. And I think that's why I have this personal connection to making sure that the people in the recovery community have an opportunity to be successful and have a second choice, maybe a third choice, a fourth choice. I just recently had a friend who is, sent away for 6 months because she can't overcome her addiction with drinking. And, I think as a community and as a population, sometimes we accept alcohol addiction, smoking addiction, but we don't accept a drug addiction. And I don't think there's any difference. Everyone needs help, and they can't do it alone. And yet, sometimes we're afraid to ask for help because we're afraid of what people will think of us, that we must be less than because we have this addiction that we can't help ourselves with or by ourselves.
Do you think it would be a good idea for the Chamber and BW Rock to come alongside, maybe not be the guest speakers, but to host a town hall meeting?
Funny you should ask that question because I've already raised that question with the sheriff and some other individuals. I said, other chambers are holding these types of town halls or have these kind of informative meetings in terms of how we can move forward as a community, how we can help people with addiction, what do we need to do as a business community. And I know that I haven't asked you formally, but I know that you're part of that conversation because we don't live it every day like you do and some of the individuals in your organization. And we need to know, what do they need so that they can be successful?
You won't get me to shut up.
I think, again, people want to be good. People want to be proud of their achievements. People don't want to be under a rock and dealing with addiction. It just happens to people, and sometimes through no fault of their own.
recovery just happens too.
Absolutely, and that's why the chamber is here being supportive. This is why we're here today to support BW Rock. That's why the chamber's, supported the run that you recently had, because we think it's important and we don't hide. Because again, sometimes they just need the support to know that, hey, we're okay and we're welcomed.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of Recovery Happens. Drugs and alcohol have affected so many lives across the nation today. Join us. Partner with BW Rock and join the cause for recovery by going to our website, bwrock.org, and click Donate. We'd like to thank our sponsor, the Blue Water Area Chamber of Commerce.